On today's episode of WrestleMania Weekly, we cover The Undertaker's famous streak, also known simply as The Streak. Arguably, this streak in wrestling and ending it was a greater distinction than any world championship. For those unfamiliar with the streak, it was a winning streak for The Undertaker at the biggest annual wrestling event in the world, WrestleMania. The Undertaker streak was not intended to occur originally. It simply evolved over time before people began to notice that The Undertaker was undefeated at WrestleMania. The Undertaker certainly held gold on occasion. However, for the most part, he was good enough of a wrestler to have matches at WrestleMania without the need for gold to be involved. Out of his 21 victories undefeated, only 3 matches involved title victories. The streak began with his first match to be against the legendary Superfly Jimmy Snuka. The Undertaker began his career with the WWE, defeating various jobbers as a monster heel. This would eventually lead to a match with the legend at WrestleMania VII. At the time, this match may have been viewed as a throwaway match, but it became the first in an important series of matches featuring The Undertaker. In 1992, The Undertaker turned face, protecting Miss Elizabeth from Jake the Snake Roberts. This feud led to a match featuring the two at WrestleMania VIII, where The Undertaker defeated the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts. In 1992 and 1993, The Undertaker feuded with wrestlers associated with Harvey Wippleman. This led to a WrestleMania IX match against the gigantic Giant Gonzalez. Giant Gonzalez was hard to work with, and this proved to still be the case, as this match was of poor quality. Nonetheless, The Undertaker would defeat his opponent and would continue the streak. This is perhaps the worst match in the streak. Giant Gonzalez would also be the first among a group of big men to face The Undertaker. The Undertaker missed WrestleMania X due to injury, but would return for WrestleMania XI. By this point, he was feuding with the $1 Million Corporation, managed by Ted DiBiase, who was injured in 1993 and became a manager. In this match, he would fight against the legendary King Kong Bundy, defeating him and moving forward with his streak in the year 1995. King Kong Bundy was another large opponent for The Undertaker. At the 1996 Royal Rumble, Diesel, who would soon afterwards be known as Kevin Nash, interfered in a title match with The Undertaker facing Bret the Hitman Hart. The Undertaker would cost Diesel a title victory at a following In Your House event before their feud settling at WrestleMania 12. The Undertaker would defeat Diesel and would move forward with his legendary streak. WrestleMania 13 in 1997 would see The Undertaker face Psycho Sid in a rare title shot for the WWF Championship. The Undertaker would win the match and become the WWF Champion. WrestleMania 14 in 1998 would see The Undertaker in his most important streak match thus far. At SummerSlam 1997, The Undertaker would find himself losing the WWF Championship to Bret Hart due to an accidental attack from special guest referee Shawn Michaels. This would lead to a Hell in a Cell match against Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood. During the match, Kane would make his debut and tear the cell door off to get in the match. The Undertaker was used to facing big men in his career at this point, but Kane was special. Kane could have been another failed gimmick to face The Undertaker, like Giant Gonzalez or the fake Undertaker. However, Kane's gimmick would prove to have longevity. Also, the storyline was so strong that many fans for years would believe that he and The Undertaker were real-life brothers. While Kane would lose the match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 14, it was a strong loss, and Kane looked great in the match. It was my favorite match of the night. Kane would later that year win the WWF Championship. The two men would spend the rest of their careers either as enemies or allies. Unfortunately, his 1999 WrestleMania 15 Hell in a Cell match with the Big Boss Man would prove memorable for all the wrong reasons. At the conclusion of the match, the Big Boss Man would be hung with a noose. It was a really poor decision to do this spot. While the spot was a work and done safely, it was an extremely poor taste and represented some of the worst of the Attitude Era. This match would represent a low point in his streak. The Undertaker would adopt his American Badass gimmick by WrestleMania 17 in 2001 and would face Triple H. This would not be the last time that he would face Triple H, as we will talk about later. He would then go on to defeat Ric Flair at a WrestleMania 18 no disqualification match in 2002. Who would not like to claim a WrestleMania win over Ric Flair? I think the match was a risk, as Flair was far past his prime, but I think the match succeeded, and I do recommend it. He fought in a handicap match against A-Train and The Big Show at WrestleMania 19 in 2003. He would resume his feud with Kane at WrestleMania 20 in 2004 and defeat him there for the second time at WrestleMania. While the streak has been mentioned before, it became a major selling point for his match against Randy Orton at WrestleMania 21 in 2005. The Undertaker would defeat Mark Henry in a casket match at WrestleMania 22 in 2006. In 2007, The Undertaker would win the Royal Rumble. The Undertaker faced Batista, the World Heavyweight Champion, at WrestleMania 23. The match resulted in The Undertaker winning the championship. This would be his second championship in his streak, albeit with a different world title. WrestleMania 24 in 2008 would see a streak versus streak match between Edge, who was also undefeated at WrestleMania, against The Undertaker. The match would result with The Undertaker winning the World Heavyweight Championship for a second year in a row, and would be his third world title level championship win at WrestleMania. The Undertaker would face Shawn Michaels in 2009. The story involved a good versus evil scenario where Michaels, who was a born-again Christian in real life, would face The Undertaker, who in storyline was a dark, Lucifer-style figure. At WrestleMania 25, Michaels would have one of the best entrances of all time, wearing all white and floating down from the heavens, countering The Undertaker's usual dark entrance. The Undertaker would face Shawn Michaels again at WrestleMania 26 in 2010 in a streak versus career match. Michaels would lose the match, and aside from one tag match in Saudi Arabia that was terrible, he stuck to his word and stayed out of the ring. Both of these matches are absolutely legendary and a must-watch. In 2011, Triple H, Shawn Michaels' long-term friend and ally, promised to end the streak at WrestleMania 27. This was another must-see in my opinion, and the match featured great storytelling. WrestleMania 28 continued the story between the two, with Triple H having a rematch against the Deadman. The match was a Hell in a Cell, and the special guest referee, none other than Shawn Michaels. This match surpassed the first, and I do not want to give away too many details. You just need to watch the match. The Undertaker will go on to challenge CM Punk at WrestleMania 29 in 2013. This would make The Undertaker's streak 21-0. Overall, he defeated 18 men for his streak. This leads us to WrestleMania 30 in 2014. To understand this match, we have to go back to 2010, where after losing to Kane Velasquez at UFC 121, The Undertaker confronted Brock Lesnar after his loss. This would eventually lead to a feud that would culminate at WrestleMania 30. In his match, Brock would use 3 F5s to beat The Undertaker and make his streak 21-1. After Lesnar's victory, there was a long pause before his music played. According to WrestleLink.com, Paul Heyman said that the stunned silent reaction from the crowd was comparable to Bruno Sammartino losing the WWF Championship to Ivan Koloff in 1971. To understand that comparison, you have to consider that Sammartino's run as champion at that time was 7 years, 8 months, and 1 day. By this point, The Undertaker losing was considered impossible, and I remember being worried that he would retire in response. The fan reaction was indeed one of shock and awe, with footage of that reaction being replayed for years. In my opinion, losing the streak to Lesnar was a poor choice, especially now in hindsight. While it did help Lesnar's career, he also did not need the distinction. Other wrestlers needed it more, or would have made a better choice. After this match, The Undertaker would wrestle 5 more times with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 31, Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 32, Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33, John Cena at WrestleMania 34, and his last match against AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36, a great match. The only other match he would lose would be against Reigns, making the final record to be 25-2. Now Lesnar has all been completely erased from the company due to the ongoing McMahon scandal. He has even been removed last minute from the WWE 2K24 video game. But guys like Styles and Reigns are going on strong. Reigns would have been booed out of the arena for ending the streak if he had done it, but it would have made more sense. Likewise, I think Wyatt would have been a better choice for this distinction. Wyatt not claiming the streak was a missed opportunity. That's it for this week. If you enjoyed our video, please like and subscribe. Also check out our Ring Chronicles podcast, where we provide excellent commentary on all things wrestling. Until next time.